Welcome to the Solipsist Cinema Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about episodes 5 and 6 of season 2 of The Rehearsal. And joining me is my girlfriend Jackie.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'm Jeremy. I guess I don't say that very much. I guess we can kind of just blend the two episodes together. The first one's pretty short and the second one goes on for a pretty long time. So basically episode 5 is, well, I guess where we left off, I'll kind of, for a recap, is where we last left Nathan was with Colin, the pilot, and he was doing the thing with the actors where, the actors were kind of cheating on their spouses in character. And so he was kind of utilizing that to see how you could apply that to pilots. Like, if you say that they're being a character, are they going to operate differently, behind the scenes?
Yeah, like they're just rehearsing things in their life. And so Nathan wants to see if he can put that into like a pilot and a co-pilot situation.
Yeah, right. And so, that's where we ended the last episode. And so, in this one, Nathan is doing his rehearsal in front of Congress, like a fake Congress, and just going through all the possible scenarios that he could, run into. And the biggest one of this whole show, but especially now if he actually does go in front of Congress, is that he's a comedian. And every time he goes on like Jimmy Fallon, he's doing like every like public performance, like appearance of him is a performance.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole mystique around like Nathan Fielder and like who he really is. Like I think The Curse is maybe the only other acting he's done like outside of his like Nathan Fielder persona.
Yeah.
And even then, like, you can't really tell because he's just acting and he's just kind of like a weird guy. But so he's overly, anytime he's in the news, it's just for his comedic stuff. So him trying to bridge that gap of being taken seriously in Congress is what he's trying to rehearse and overcome.
Yeah. So if you look up, what he does is he looks up his name and he sees that it's just a bunch of like hilarious pictures of him doing like weird things on in the internet. And so starts doing some research on other comedians who bring up like real concerns to Congress, and he realizes that start talking by first making like a joke, so they can realize like, hey, I am a comedian, I'm funny, but now we need to talk about something serious. So he does that in his like rehearsal. He has a rehearsal Congress first of all. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, and then like what was the joke that he said? Like something about like masturbating on the bus, and he kept doing it because the driver told him to keep getting off.
Yeah.
And so and it's so weird because Nathan, like the character of him isn't ever aware, but he always does have like a little bit of power and balance of like, it's his show, he's creating the show, so he's asking the actor to do something, and he's like kind of pretending or like actually genuinely wanting them to or to not behave a certain way. And just like like the social like niceties of people are trying to like do what he really wants. And so he's like kind of like politely asking them to laugh, but without actually telling them like, if you feel like laughing, laugh.
Yeah.
And then because no one laughs when he first tells a joke, and then he's like,
And then the
he's like,
second time.
like, guys, you guys can be human if you want, like, which is so crazy him saying that.
To tell an actor you're pretending to be a human, so like be a human.
No, but for like especially Nathan Fielder telling people to be human.
Oh yeah.
But then then they like laugh like way over the top, and then you just can't overcorrect it. That was like really funny. But overall, like you were saying earlier, these two last episodes are probably the least funny.
Yeah.
Not that they're not as good, but they're more serious.
Yeah, they're not like crazy, like weird funny, but like if you see Nathan's face, like you just start.
Yeah, anytime
like,
I just laugh at his face,
and laugh.
Yeah, I just can't take him seriously. But I can at the same time, like even if he is doing something serious, just because it's Nathan. Not even just because he's a comedian, just because I know he's going to go through so many meta layers.
Yeah.
It's just funny because I never know if that's really him being serious or not. So you can take what he's saying seriously, but you just never know when he's performing or not. He just basically, in researching for Congress, he finds out that his first season of rehearsal was like really big in the autistic community. And talk about that.
So he uses how to use that connection with that community with like somebody in Congress who like represents them somehow.
Yeah, like he's also on like the pilots, like board of pilots or whatever, and he's also like part of like an autistic like fundraising like type of community or something like that. So that's the one. Yeah, because I think Nathan tried to reach out through his connections with HBO to try to
Yeah.
talk to Congress. I forget what it was, like some flight like branch of it that would actually make the laws.
He got shut down.
Yeah, that didn't work. So yeah, his only last connection is through this autism angle. He can hopefully get a meeting with this guy that's also on the board of whatever pilot, lawmakers, whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he goes to
Like a
the
center of autism and related disorders, and he's talking to like this lady and like all these things the like people in that community do is actually rehearse. And so she makes a deal with him that if there's like a group of kids who want to go, they're going to travel, and so she wants to use Nathan's like setup that he has right now to like practice, rehearsal traveling in the airport so the kids can get comfortable. And so like that is the deal with her in order for Nathan to meet the Congress guy.
yeah, and it is cool because we're talking about like in this season if there's ever going to be like real world implications of what he's doing for like the airline. But I guess like in the last season there already was like a real world benefit in the autism community that I guess I didn't know about it, but I guess there's like random articles around about it. Um, and I wonder if they're watching it like if you have like severe autism, if you're able to, because if you have severe autism, it's kind of hard for you to read social cues and like facial expressions.
Oh
So if you're like
yeah.
severely autistic, I wonder if you're able to pick up on like the fact that Nathan like is like really taking what he's doing seriously or not, because like everything he's doing is funny,
Yeah.
but he is taking it seriously.
Right.
But I wonder if there's like any comedy, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, like if he's just being overtly funny, if just because you're autistic doesn't mean you're gonna know that he's being funny.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if they interpret it a different way and like don't really like care about his like, yeah, I don't know, like his just like kind of subtle like cringiness, and like they just take the overall like aspect of what he's doing just to be something that's applicable to them.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's talking to this lady who like works at this center, and she's like showing him some questions about like how to tell
Oh,
like the level of autism you have. And so she starts showing him the questions and he's getting them wrong. But it's only two
yeah.
questions, but you can tell by his face that he's getting like, oh man, maybe I do have autism.
Yeah, it's like there's like four options, and it's like someone's eyes, and it's saying like,
Yeah.
are they comforted? Are they, enraged or happy or whatever? And even I'm getting some of those wrong. Like I think I only got one of them right, actually.
I got both right.
No, I think you were like going back in between two, but maybe
I mean,
did
you
get
do
right.
go back between two, but then you pick the one like you think is the best one, and I got both right.
Okay.
But yeah, Nathan gets them wrong, and you can tell by his face that he's just like, "Oh, can we just stop this test now?"
Yeah, and he's not like, I think he knows he's playing it up to her. Like he's making her think that he's like thinking like, I want to stop doing this because I'm gonna look like I'm autistic.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he actually does know the right answer and is being wrong. I think
I know,
probably
right?
I think probably he was just guessing, and like it is like a hard test. Like the two options that you bounce back in between, they're like, yeah, it's like, rage or frustration. It's like such a similar emotion.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, I don't know. Most people, I don't know how. She said it was like a pretty like scientifically accurate test, but I don't know what the like general population would be getting that correct. But yeah, seeing his effect that he had in the autism community kind of gives him this bridge to talk to the member of Congress. And this is kind of where like the Congress thing ends, because he has like a whole meeting with this kind of like really old Congress guy, and he kind of like, yeah, like lays out his argument, everything we've been doing this season. He talks about just, yeah, the miscommunication between pilots, how something needs to be a bridge of like breaking the ice so that they can both feel comfortable and stuff. And he seems pretty receptive to it, but then like
At the
nothing
very
really
end, he's just like,
happens.
"Thank you, thank you."
Yeah, he kind of just says like thank you. He doesn't really ever say if like he's gonna continue going forward
Or if it's
with
a
it.
good
Like,
idea, or like I'll get connected with you. Nothing. He's just like, "All right, thanks for the talk. See you."
yeah, and
Which
then
is like, as for an audience, like we're excited, like with Nathan, like we're like, heck yeah, show all the proof, show everything that we're watching, and I mean, I'm also thinking like, yeah, this is it. And dude, it's so
Yeah,
depressing.
so like anticlimactic. And then
Yeah.
like yeah, Nathan like overstays his welcome and he's just like waiting for him to say something
He's
else.
just sitting
And he's just
down.
like sitting there on his like the older guy just like on his phone just kind of okay, thanks. All right, see ya. And Nate cuz yeah, he doesn't really give like a definitive ending of like okay, are you going to take this forward and go to, Congress
Or
with it or am I
and
going to be invited or
yeah,
anything?
or like any feedback, like where can we improve? Like what little bit can you take from my idea? Like nothing, dude. So depressing.
Yeah, like without the cameras and everything, I don't know if this guy would have given Nathan the time of day at all. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. But then, so yeah, and I guess that's pretty much like the end of that
Yeah. Yeah,
episode.
that was it.
Because then the next episode, you find out during a flashback of like 2 years ago that he actually has his pilot's license and he's been
Dude.
training for like, I think he said something like 7 months because usually it doesn't take you that long on the testing. But I think, I remember when we were watching it, however many hours it takes you to land. Normally, what was it, like 10 to
10 to
30
30
hours?
hours,
And it
people
took him
get it.
like
Over what, 100 or 200
yeah, I think it took
hours?
him like 110 and he still wasn't getting it.
Yeah, and he was getting like different instructors because he just couldn't understand or believe like this guy could not get it
Yeah,
down.
like they're passing him around like a
Yeah.
test subject, like like yeah, you think you found the unteachable student, like check this guy out, and they're like, yeah, I'm trying everything I can, and he's just not getting it.
Yeah, so you get to see like Nathan fly, and you have all these different instructors just taking the controls because Nathan is doing something wrong.
Yeah, he's just like yeah, like his awkwardness is just manifested like in his physical attributes here too. Like he just looks so nervous, and that's like yeah, that's where it goes into. He just talks about how like anxious he is, and that's another thing we mentioned with like the pilots in previous episodes where if you're feeling like really anxious or depressed or something, you could get your pilot's license taken away if you open up too much about that because then you're going to be thought of as being too at risk. Same with like yeah, if you had like some severe autism or something like that, you could end up getting it taken away. So yeah, so Nathan actually buys. I don't know if he buys the 737 or he rents it.
No, he rents it from a company that he can't say.
Yeah, yeah, in order to do a real flight, and so yeah, we'll go back to that real fast. But yeah, just in the process of doing that, he's having to like do a questionnaire of just like it's in some step of the pilot process, right? And so he kind of gets stuck on the anxiety portion of like yeah, because if you lie on it, it's like a federal offense.
Yeah.
And so he's like, do I have anxiety or not? And he's like, technically, to the best of his knowledge, he doesn't have like professionally diagnosed anxiety, but he
Yeah.
does go to a doctor, and he gets what an fMRI scan to
Yeah,
see.
to scan like anxiety and autism.
Yeah, and so yeah, because I mean, it's like a normal thing to be anxious about. Like you're carrying all these passengers' lives in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, if you weren't anxious, it would probably be bad. But like a diagnosable anxiety might not be the greatest. But
Yeah, we never find out though because the results take like 2 weeks or a month. And so, the show continues. He already has things planned, like he's going to fly people and stuff. So he's just going to put, what does he put? Like, no, he doesn't have it because he really doesn't know
yeah, I
if he
mean,
does.
to his
He's not going to get the
knowledge,
results on time.
Yeah, because I think he said after he took the test, he was like flying the passengers and well, the actors, but passengers in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to talk real fast about like his process of getting the 737. He just goes to like junkyards looking at like just horrible
That
like
was
broken
so
down
crazy to see.
airplanes.
Like, just
Yeah.
so many airplanes. I guess people can just buy like parts from, and they're just like, yeah, like a junkyard of just huge ass planes.
Yeah, and that one guy he talked to was so funny. Like he was just going through like this wreck of a plane.
Oh, yeah.
And then like there's these like hoses hanging and Nathan's he's like, so do you think this is like good to go? He's like, oh yeah, this is good. He's like this is
There's
this
like
can,
wires
this is, like,
exposed
yeah.
everywhere. He's like,
Like-
yeah, you can fly right now.
Oh my god, yeah, he just like wanted the money, I guess. I'm like, yeah, he was like, yeah, the mechanics code is if you would let your family
Oh,
fly
yeah.
in it, then that's like the highest honor. Now I'd let my family get in this airplane.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that dude was serious or not, but it was just like
No way, dude. Like,
a
he's
wreck
just-
of a plane.
he's
Yeah,
just
just
trying
like
to sell it.
just giving it away, hoping that Nathan has like enough checks and balances to actually get the plane like operating well before he actually has to use it.
There's like a bird's nest also.
Yeah,
Like, that's normal. Yeah, you can still fly
he's like
like
there's
that.
a bird nest over there too. It's like man, oh my god, that guy he just encounters the funniest people. But yeah, it still is just so crazy that he actually did get his pilot's license and he's like a licensed pilot and has like it's that by this point I think he has hundreds, if not a couple thousand hours
Yeah, so
of flight time.
yeah, so before that though, like he was having a hard time like getting like landing by himself. And remember, he took a month break, and he was just like at his home, fake practicing that he's like flying
Yeah, they
and
told him
stuff.
to like visualize everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then once he does that for a month and then goes back to like actually flying the plane, he does get his license. Like somehow, like just taking a break and just practicing at his house, like that worked, and he was able to land it with the instructor, and then he flew by himself and landed, and I was just terrified the whole time.
Yeah, and it is crazy that how they mentioned that once you get out of the simulator, you actually just go straight from simulator flight
That
to like
was
flying with real
so
passengers. Like they never have
crazy.
you just do a test run in like a 737 before there's like hundreds of
Yeah.
people
And Nathan's like,
there.
it's that good.
I
And he's
get
like,
like
yeah.
either it's that good or I guess if you're like you're not going to be the pilot, you'll be the co-pilot, so
Yeah.
like there'll be someone else to take over if you mess things up. So like it kind of makes sense, I guess, but it just seems
That,
kind of crazy that
yeah.
there's like hundreds of people lives in your hands and you've never like actually been in the vehicle before. But I don't know, I mean the simulation seems like it takes into account like wind, like speeds and like drafts and like just any possible thing. It's just like a replica of a cockpit. So I don't know, I'm not a pilot, I have no idea.
Yeah. But that class where he's in, where he's like learning about, I don't know, like any scenarios that could happen, that class looked in so intense.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I
it's
don't
so
know.
crazy.
Just like a normal guy just doing that course, like, how do you pass that?
Yeah, I wonder how much of his time was like just doing that as a full-time job. 'Cause I know like if this was 2 years ago, he might have been like in the writing or filming of The Curse, because he hasn't really been doing anything else since the last season of
Exactly.
Rehearsal.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do this as like a full-time, half-time job and then you're doing some writing on the side, yeah, it's pretty manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So then yeah, I guess after, so where were we at then?
He passes the course. He does the simulation. He has a real plane now where he can fly actors. So yeah, the loophole is that he can fly a commercial grade plane with non-paying passengers. So he just has actors in there to simulate, a pilot and co-pilot flying an airplane.
Yeah, and then so yeah, he's trying to put his whole rehearsal thing, I guess what the whole season's been building up to, where
Mm-hmm.
he has these characters where basically like the captain plays, I forget the names, but it's like Captain
Oh, I have it
like hears
down.
a lot or something. You have it?
Yeah. So it's going to be First Officer Blunt, and he's honest almost to a fault and not afraid to take over the controls when necessary. And then Captain All Ears, and he loves feedback and is not afraid to admit when he's wrong.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because this is one of those like, how would you implement it practically? Because it does, if you're watching the show and it's like, oh yeah, Captain or First Lieutenant All Ears or whatever, and then Blunt, it seems cool. It's like, okay, yeah, it's like a kind of funny, quirky way to give yourself like an excuse to be blunt or give your excuse to be like, okay, I guess kind of like give up and without having to save face,
Mm-hmm.
but just make it kind of like socially acceptable of you to give in or whatever, because you can just say, oh, I was playing a character. But it is kind of weird that I don't know, like in the kind of job that I have, if like, corporate came down and was like, hey, we're gonna have you guys play these roles or something, I feel like there would just be like a lot of people that are just like, just talking about how corporate doesn't understand. Like, it's just kind of corny to be playing these characters. Like, I don't know how many actual people would take this seriously, you know?
Yeah, yeah. When Nathan first mentioned that he actually has like a plan where they can do roles, I was like, at first I was like, how do you even do that? Why would they care for to do that? But then when I actually saw how he implemented, like they talk, they do the whole scenario first by like in a lounge when they first meet, right? And then they say it to each other like
Yeah, like a
I'm
little script, like, yeah.
yeah, so you get to see it played out to see how like Nathan wants them to do it. And I mean it does kind of make sense now. Like I did like it, and it's just kind of like simple and easy to follow. And then I also like the part where like they can talk about how silly this is. And that the
Yeah,
whole
that's what I
point,
was.
yeah, the whole point is just to have like a bit of communication when there's literally zero. So like it is different from our job, is because like where we work, where we do have to communicate about literally anything at work. It's like it's not a big deal. But here, they're like carrying passengers and they're not communicating. So I think this simple, easy, little silly plan, I mean, I feel like that's a really good first step.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, like it almost doesn't even matter the content of what Nathan's like script says because yeah, like the fact that yeah, I'm just thinking like from my perspective, if my job handed this down, all of
Yeah.
us, like all the guys, we'd just be talking like this shit about corporate and like how dumb this is and like just
Right.
making fun of them. So like so yeah, it doesn't really matter what it is precisely that they're giving you because you are going to be forming a bond with each other, I guess against the company maybe or just against like the dumb idea like how they're treating you because it can seem like they're treating you in kind of like a childish way. So at minimum, the pilots are going to bond over that, and then if they actually really take it seriously, then it works like in a better way. So you can get like the best of both worlds
Yeah.
potentially, where yeah you're kind of laughing, it's kind of dumb to do, but you do kind of take it seriously, and then yeah if there's any, it just takes like a couple little moments. Like if there's a moment where you're kind of hesitant, like oh should I speak up, should I follow up about this question without hurting their feelings, you can be
Yeah.
like oh I'm kind of playing a role, so if you ever speak up like out of turn, you can
Mm-hmm.
just be like, "Oh, I was playing a role," and
Right.
the other person knows that too. I wonder if this would open them up to like not being liable for like,
Oh,
yeah, like just
yeah.
taking it to the extreme, like sexual harassment. I was thinking of like
Oh,
of the
my
old, I was
God.
thinking of the other pilot from the other episode. Remember when he's just
Yeah.
like asking such personal questions? So now, if you give them like a role to play or like a character, you could kind of just ask the dumbest like random personal questions, and then
Yeah.
if they get on to you about it, you could say, "Oh, that was just my interpretation of the role I was given." So I think
Man,
it'd
that's
be weird how
so
people could abuse it
true.
that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking
There's
during
always one
that.
person ruin it.
Yeah, yeah, it happened. That's where like yeah, a majority of like all our rules at work are just because like one idiot did something stupid and then now they're like okay, everyone has to do the most insane thing so that that one thing never happens again, even if it inconveniences way more than it actually protects. But anyways,
Yeah, we get to see. So yeah, we get to see Nathan like fly a plane with a bunch of actors in it, which is all like so scary to see. Like I was so scared. Like what the heck is gonna happen?
yeah, I mean at least he does have like an actual professional pilot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the judges of the Wings of Voice or whatever, like the
Yes.
fake
Uh huh.
musical show that they have,
Mm-hmm.
which is still going like and airing, and like they actually like have a final winner at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if Nathan really gets nervous or messes up, he does have like an actual pilot that can take over. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he ever really does. I think Nathan lands and takes off. I think he just goes to the bathroom a couple times or something like that.
Yeah. The main thing is that Nathan sees, yeah, like the co-pilot make some faces like to himself. So then Nathan just keeps
Yeah.
bringing up over and over, like, what are you thinking? What's wrong? You can tell me, like all of that.
Yeah, it's so awkward. Yeah, because the pilot's kind of like zoning out. Oh, yeah, then, yeah, so the reason he chose this pilot over like any of the others is because to keep the power imbalance of like a captain that could get you fired and the co pilot, this co pilot actually kind of wants to make like a TV show pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nathan is, in the TV show landscape, he's like a showrunner and everything. So there is that kind of added imbalance now of the co pilot might feel kind of uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
bringing up something in show business because he doesn't want Nathan to like inadvertently blackball him from it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember it's kind of awkward when he's kind of trying to make conversation with Nathan, and Nathan's just kind of so awkward that he doesn't respond. Like the guy's trying to make like this
Oh
pleasantries, being like,
yeah.
I was kind of thinking before I came in that this is probably like the first time there's been like an actor that was like a pilot that like really flew people
Yeah.
in the show. And yeah, I think he's just worrying that Nathan's thinking like, oh, so you're saying I'm not a real pilot.
Yeah.
So and Nathan just doesn't add to the conversation. He's just kind of nodding like, uh-huh, yeah,
And
okay.
to me, I'm like, you're literally doing what like you don't want these people to do. Like you're zero communication. He's just like,
He's testing his new method that he's implementing, I guess. Like he's stress
yeah.
testing it. But
Oh
yeah, he's
my
doing like the
god,
exact
that's so
opposite of the
awkward.
whole
Yeah.
thing he's trying to do. Oh man. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. But I get it does. I don't know if the show, because that's pretty much like it for the episode. Like he lands,
Oh,
it does the wings of what?
there was a scary moment where there was like another plane like recording them like for the show, like an HBO, like I don't know, airplane, and they're going around them and they are getting pretty close. And even like the real pilot, the co-pilot, he's like they're getting really close, and I that was freaking scary too. Like, what?
Oh yeah,
Why
he's
are they getting
seen.
so close?
Yeah, and in Nathan's voiceover, he like acknowledges that and says like if he's gonna speak up more. So maybe it didn't work because I don't think the co-pilot really. He kind of mentions it a little bit, but he never takes over saying like, "Hey, let's." I imagine they probably have like radio communication with them,
That's what
so
I'm
there's nothing that they
thinking.
ever. He never takes that step to be like, okay, let's lower and tell them to back off or talk to them. So he is, yeah, maybe it doesn't even quite work because the co-pilot doesn't really feel strong enough to like talk about it, like to say something. But maybe he also like if it got really really close, maybe he would have said something.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I don't know, like it is the plane was close, but at the same time, like not really. Like it was several yards away, I guess. But I mean, you're the only two like planes up there, so like it seems like it's pretty close. But
Yeah.
it never got like insanely close.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he still felt safe. But I mean, and especially for him, like he that's probably never happened for him before too. Like
Oh yeah, that's so
because he's
true.
usually just flying, yeah, like Southwest Airlines or something probably. So there's never some like private plane just warping around you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, like he's on camera too, so he wants to seem like he's a safe pilot. So
Mm-hmm.
anything unsafe, maybe he's gonna, you know, try to vocalize it so that, you know, when he goes back to his job, they're not like hounding him for being unsafe, being on the show maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I skipped it a little bit, but I was kind of gonna wrap up because like just because the episode wraps up
Mm-hmm.
pretty fast. Like it does the final contestant for Wings of Voice, and then she sings "Bring Me to Life," the Evanescence song,
Yeah.
and it showed like to me it was showing Nathan Fielder's face like up close, where like it almost came full circle to where like he had lived Sully's life like in his experience. I was the captain that
Yeah.
listened to it, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, so like he was like just fully embodying him and like it was like a transcendental like this thing in just his eyes of like listening to the song. It was so funny. But then yeah, he gets like this voicemail notification, which this has to be scripted because like what are the odds that he's on set and then he gets the voicemail from the doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Like that just has to be like scripted. But so yeah, he gets a voicemail saying like, "Hey, can you come in and we'll discuss your results?" And they are pretty like in-depth results, so that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad news.
Right.
You know, if it's like a positive or negative for like, you know, HIV, sometimes they're like, okay, you're negative, whatever. But if it's bad, they're like, hey, so you might want to come in and we'll talk about it. So, but so yeah, Nathan doesn't want to know the answer because, like, yeah, like if you know the answer, okay, then you're gonna be at more of a risk.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what when he was doing research about just like the pilots like coming forward with any kind of like yeah like getting diagnosed with stuff, he was going through like a Reddit and there's like Reddit posts of people being like, you know, why the fuck would you go to a
Yeah,
doctor
dude.
and get diagnosed
They're
like
so
now?
serious.
Yeah, like you'd just rather remain willfully ignorant than get a confirmation of, you know, you being autistic or depressed or
And that's what
something.
Nathan did. He deleted the voicemail. Like he's
Yeah.
not. And you know, for us, you know, like we're watching, so maybe for us, like he deleted it, but like maybe he went to the doctor the next day or something and
Yeah,
not
he might have,
recorded
yeah.
it.
Because it is weird because yeah, that's where the episode ends, so you never know. Maybe like it would be crazy if we see any real articles in real life of like Nathan Fielder going to Congress or something, because he does do some things that kind of incorporate the show outside of it, like the Jimmy Fallon interview.
Mm-hmm.
He did do that in real life, and then he talked about it on the show on his Nathan for You early on. So it would be kind of crazy if yeah somehow this guy goes into real life and you just see articles of this happening. It would be so sick if they just like randomly dropped like an episode 7 of this just so randomly.
Yes.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also at the end, we get to see that Nathan is still flying the 737 planes. Remember, like he's taking them, like he's working with a company to take empty planes
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like around the world to different locations. So that is so cool. Like he can just do that
Yeah, he's
because
doing
he
that part
can.
time. Yeah. Yeah, it's in like yeah, I think it was in like South American countries or something like that. And he would yeah just go in and then I think he always had a co-pilot,
Yeah,
right? So it
always
wasn't
had a
like always by
COVID.
himself, but it was like yeah, like
But we,
empty seats and everything where you
yeah, he says when they go to the bathroom, he's by himself.
Oh yeah, so he's feeling cool, yeah. Yeah, and he always says those little lines of just like yeah,
Oh, another line that he says, they only let the smartest and best people fly a plane of this size, and it feels good to know that.
yeah, that's how I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's just so funny, like just how cocky he is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did watch his interview on I think it is on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel recently, where yeah, he kind of talks about just this whole process of him like being a real pilot. And it is weird because like I was saying, that like Nathan Fielder, he's like almost always playing a character. So like on his talk show performances, I don't know, he's just he never really like says whether he's pretending or not. Like in certain moments, like he kind
Right.
of keeps the mystique of the Nathan Fielder character alive. But again, oh, one thing about the autism thing I was gonna mention I forgot was the masking. I thought that was interesting how like I forget exactly what it is, but in the autism community there's like this masking thing where yeah, the masking was yeah, masking is when someone with autism consciously or unconsciously changes their behavior to fit in with others to avoid like negative attention or judgment. So yeah, they're either be like yeah, just suppressing their emotions or changing their real emotions in a way so that it's like if you they just don't want to be I don't know, it could be like multiple things. Like maybe they don't want to be treated as someone with autism, so they just kind of want to behave normally. But I think what they mentioned in the show was that it was kind of they don't want to be judged for their autism, so they're trying to be normal. But once like the other communicator kind of gives the go ahead of like they're not going to be judgmental, the person with autism can kind of let their mask down and like be who they are and feel like they're not going to be judged for being like quirky
Oh,
or
okay,
anything like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was an interesting thing. And I think, like Nathan does mention, like that masking is something that I think all people do, and you know, at work or on dates or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have people with autism or like anxiety, will rehearse things more, you know, because I do that a little bit, like if I'm gonna have a difficult conversation with something, or even like random stuff that I'm never gonna happen, like I'll rehearse like going on other people's podcasts just in my head, like at work, and like I'll even like sometimes I get so into it, like I'm talking out loud, and like yeah, it's like so weird, but yeah, so it's almost like not even rehearsing because it's not even an actuality, but it's like just living, or like, yeah, like just living something that's not gonna happen, but you're taking it so seriously just on the off chance that it might happen.
I feel like I do that, but like maybe 1%, like very little
It's
about the
hard.
smallest thing. I don't. I feel like you go, yeah, exactly. You go more into it, like in your own story and stuff for yourself. But like, I don't think I do that at all.
I do that a lot, especially like if I'm watching whatever TV show I'm watching. It's kind of hard to like actually verbalize it now because it's something that just always goes on in your head. But if I'm watching a TV show or a movie, or even like just getting really into a podcast, I kind of find myself filtering like aspects of my life through their perspective. Like if I don't know, if I'm listening to like Sam Harris a lot or like Very Bad Wizards, I'll be like, you know, something, I'll be reading something, I'll kind of be thinking about if I was going to have a conversation with them about it, what I would say, or if I was going to like come on their podcast and talk about it, what I would, yeah, just like what I would be saying. Even, yeah, it does sound weird to say because like, there are times where like maybe I'll like want to say a joke or something and I'll kind of say it out loud, but then like I stuttered or something. So like I'll say it again and like I'll try to be like as if I'm being cool with it or something. But it's really weird, like verbalizing it, because yeah, in your head you're just kind of doing it, and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know how normal of a thing that is for people to do.
Honestly, jealous. That sounds fun.
I don't know. I've always talked to myself a lot, but yeah, I've never been. I probably don't have autism. I don't know. I've never cared to get diagnosed with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, especially like for depression or something, like it's like okay, if you know, I don't know, then it'll be more serious. Sometimes it's just better to play ignorant.
Honestly, if like that test is on online and you can just Google it, I'll do it. I'm curious.
I did want to do
Eh,
the facial test that she's done. I remember
yeah.
I did one of those a super long time ago. It was probably like like an internet like Facebook one, you know, trying to get like your zodiac sign or something stupid. It probably wasn't official. But I remember I was pretty bad at it. Like yeah, I was trying to guess their emotions. And it would either be yeah, it'd be like between two, like there's four choices, and I'd go back and forth between two, and then I'd settle on one is like the exact opposite, like every time. But I don't know. Sometimes it's like, yeah, because you only see like 2 inches of their eyes. You don't really see, and you just see like the wrinkles. So it's like just the subconscious and subtle formations of their
Yeah.
eyebrows and like crow's feet around their face.
And it was like a bad photo too.
Yeah, Nathan says that he's like, this is really low res. Like,
Yeah.
you can't really see these very good.
So if I fail, it's not really my fault.
But yeah, the one time I took that, I didn't do too great at it. But yeah, so yeah, we could take one of those eventually and see how we do. Who knows?
Man, but I really like this season. Oh, so cool. Like to learn so much about pilots and what they go through.
Yeah, it's so, and he does such a good job at, because like if you just say the premise, it's like okay, that's kind of cool for a whole TV show about like pilot safety and communication or whatever. But Nathan Fielder just makes like you're never bored for like 1 second of the show.
Yeah.
Like the pacing is just so perfect, and just his meta questioning. Like you'll be thinking like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna start questioning this or something, and then he does, and he'll start, and he'll go way over the top and be like way too serious, and just for the beauty of it is just the most mundane, basic situations. He'll go over the top with like
Mm-hmm.
the HBO money and just create this huge like over the top scenario that like only he can create. And we talked about that in the last episodes with like him, yeah, like reliving Sully's life with the parents and the breastfeeding
Yeah.
and all that.
And like the things he focused on, like just randomly not part of the show or like the question of the season. Like remember when they're the actors, they all have like their own fake room of like that co-pilot's bedroom. But like anyways, there's like a girl and a guy, acting, and there's like five of them, and then they start like really getting into a fake relationship. But like he focuses on that because, and I like that because as an audience, you see that and you're like, that's kind of weird. And then Nathan also thinks it's weird. So now he has this opportunity to like go in and ask more questions, make it more awkward by bringing their partners. And then he asks their partners like, how do you feel? Like, this doesn't bother you? Like, like
Yeah.
like I have these questions in my mind and he's like doing it for me too.
Yeah, he does. He will ask like the really like uncomfortable to ask questions, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes like this the cringy just yeah like the social awkwardness like happen just because he's behaving sometimes yeah like in a blunt like kind of altered way.
Mm-hmm.
That's just yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah, this season was so funny and also sad because the pilots can't talk about their feelings. But it was everything. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. Like with humor, he does tackle like big subjects. Like in the previous season, he's tackling like the hesitancy to become like a mother or a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and like your effects you have on a child. This one he's talking about. I guess he's kind of just, if you're gonna put a whole theme on, he's just talking about, I guess, like the different faces you put on during different encounters in life, and just like yeah, just someone's ability to open up or like be receptive to criticism or to like speak their mind. So I don't know, there's always like really serious like undertones
Oh
to
yeah.
what he's talking about, but he just does it in like such a funny way. So yeah, it's great. If you haven't seen the show before and you're listening for some reason, it'll still be worth
Yeah.
worth it even though we spoiled everything. But if you're listening, yeah, I figure people will discover this like way down the road and be like, "Oh, I remember I watched that. Let's see what they had to say about it or whatever."
Loved it.
But yeah, I cannot wait for season 3, I guess, in like a
Another
couple
Nathan,
years.
yeah, anything he
Who knows what
does.
he'll do? It seems like he's always working. Like there was a point for a while where I didn't know if he was gonna do season 2, but I guess the fact that he was like, yeah, like 2 years ago he was
Two
going through
years.
through like piloting, yeah, do like pilot training, and
Yeah.
then now it's only coming out. So yeah, whatever he's doing next, I don't know. I would love. What if he became like an astronaut or something? Like he would literally do
Something
that
bigger than flying a
for like the
plane.
dumbest reason to like
Yeah.
yeah, he would take like the smallest interaction of like I don't know, seeing something from a weird angle, then like he would relate that to seeing the universe from a weird angle.
Yeah.
But then it would have like themes of like existentialism, and it'd be like so serious, and he would probably have like a mental like yeah, existential crisis and stuff. It's so good. But yeah, so you have any other thoughts about it?
I just can't wait to see like what other show he does.
Yeah, I think I mean he's might be. It would be cool if he alternated between like dramatized like comedy and then like this show, like with like The Curse. I wonder if he'll do something else with the Safdie brothers or anything
Yeah,
like
that
that.
was like really like so different too.
Yeah, no one really talked about that either. It's such a weird show, and yeah, just the way he handles comedy is just so good. Like he just has such a self awareness that yeah, it's just like really missing from comedy. Because I always talk about yeah, the type of comedy that I hate is like the modern like Disney modern like SNL humor where it's like oh haha look at me, I'm being funny, I'm
Yeah.
laughing, you're laughing now. It's like no, like either be funny or do something funny to make me laugh. And yeah, this show, it's like one of the best comedies, and it's also one of the best, like maybe not one of the best dramas in a sense where you're like concerned for the lives of the characters, but there is a lot of like deep stuff that you can come away thinking,
Oh yeah.
which I'm not doing a very good job. Like, yeah, after I end this podcast, I'll think of like so many brilliant things I didn't mention. Because I have like rehearsal, like at work, I'll rehearse what I'm gonna say on the podcast, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to touch on this, this, and this. And then now when I finally do it, it's after work and I'm tired, or on the weekend, and whatever the case is, and I just miss everything that I was like thinking about in the moment.
Yeah. You should use your notes that's on your cell phone.
I mean, I do, but
Okay. We'll bring it up when you're doing the podcast. Step one. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, thanks for listening, and yeah, we'll see you guys later.
See you.